Hey, what's up? Welcome to the program. I'm DJ Sixsmith. You're watching Sit Down. Lost in Space, finally coming back. Mina Sundwall is here with us. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
So you were like 15 years old here in this picture, is
was.
what I found out.
It's so funny for me to see it. I went back and watched some of the first episodes of the first season, and I'm sitting there going, I look so young. It's crazy.
So where were you at this point in your life? Like, what was going on? What was it like when you first jumped into the show?
It feels a little bit like, for the first couple episodes that we were filming, especially, you know when you see a puppy and everything is a new experience and everything is very exciting? It was like that, yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So when you think about season 1, what are the biggest differences in terms of your life, the character? Like, what are the biggest differences overall?
Both she and I grew up a little bit. I'm kind of trying to navigate my way through the beginning of adulthood, which is a whole thing.
It's a beast,
but,
yeah.
We both have grown up a bit. We also both know that there's a lot of growing up to do. And especially through the show and through being able to be in her mindset and then my mindset, I can learn from her and then almost teach her from me in a way that I feel a little more whole, a little more confident and sure of who I am, and I think a lot of that comes from her.
It's nice when the character kind of lines up with what's going on in your life, because there's a lot to work out for the character, but then if you could also bring some stuff into your life, you're like, okay, like there's a little extra time to kind of work through some stuff here.
Exactly, reading scenes and seeing reactions, be like, oh, that's actually a good,
that's
a good call, let me pull that, yeah.
That's awesome. So this is like a big family atmosphere. It's obviously taking place in space, but there's a lot of stuff for the family here. What was it like for you to kind of absorb all that and kind of unpack it in a second season?
It was good. We started the second season a little more in the middle of it than we had started in the first season. As actors, we all knew each other. The characters had developed all their dynamics on screen in the first season, so people who are watching it know where we stand, and we were more familiar with it. And then, for example, like Dr. Smith, she's now playing with a little more of an open hand, so we get to play with that. We start the season in trouble. We don't really get into trouble. So it felt more familiar. It was an easier transition going into automatically being a family than the first day of season 1.
Yeah, because you have to build things out. Not only like off the set, just getting to know people, but like you have to introduce people to the whole storyline, what's going on with the characters. Now people know, they've been waiting, they're anticipating it. It's like, let's just go right into it.
Yeah, they know who's funny, who's serious, where they are, what the tensions are,
So what was the biggest learning lesson for season 2? Because it's like Netflix show all over the world, like you've done season 1, what do you take away from season 2?
There's a lot. Apart from some of the practical side of working with such intense special effects, which when you're watching the show, you almost don't see it as much as when you know what's happening. We have a lot that has to do with water this year, and there's a lot of movement that has to do when you're sailing and when you're on water and things like that. But from a life side, it was the fact that, especially playing a character that's very similar to who you are and going through that bit of teenage angst, it's an arc that's not linear. And it's very fun to be able to go back and forth and live through the insecurities of somebody else and then take that for yourself. That's a lot of what I took this year of going through my own non-linear kind of up and down arc and then seeing how to handle certain situations differently. Her circumstances are a little more extreme than my circumstances, but you can pick and like kind of cherry pick in between,
Absolutely. What have been some of the challenges with that? Because you mentioned like in life, in acting, like there are a lot of up and downs. How have you dealt with that, and what have been kind of the keys to kind of keeping you steady throughout?
For me personally or for Penny? For me,
talk about you.
Family, keeping family close. There's a lot. Even now, I've moved out of my parents' house, but it's like every day I'm like, Mom, how do I do this? Mom, I don't know how to handle this. Mom, what do I do about this? And making sure that you know people that know you and know what is good for you as a person, but also have a bigger picture than you have. I think that's something that I learned is very important, because especially when you're growing up, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm the smartest person in the world, and no one can ever tell me.
And then life hits you, and you're like,
and then
oh,
you get smacked in the face,
not.
and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I don't know how to do that. So someone with a bigger picture that you trust a lot.
And these are like your college years in a sense, because like, listen, people at that age are moving out, they're figuring out things, you know, you're just doing it a little bit differently. So like, do you have friends that are in college? Are you guys like comparing experiences in a sense?
Yeah, I am actually in college myself.
Oh, you're doing like the online thing?
I kind of have a couple feet in a couple different ponds. It's very interesting to navigate, especially going in between being in school and being kind of with people who spend all of their time at school and having that world, and then kind of dipping away for a couple weeks and spending all their time working in a very professional environment.
With people that are a lot older.
With people that are a lot older than you and doing something that's very, very different. There's like, you're in school, you're in lectures, or you're in class studying, and then you're on set, like having a panic attack on the floor. You know what I mean? Yeah.
What piques your interest outside of acting? What are some things you're studying or just like to do in your own life?
I do love, so I'm a psychology major. I love people. I find people very interesting, which is very funny given that Penny is the opposite people person, the non-science person. But I love reading and I love writing. I love things like cooking and traveling and understanding the world. I'm also interested in anthropology and people, where you come from, who you are, different parts of the world, what that means, and linguistics. I speak a couple languages, and my parents grew up not in the U.S., so I have a language background. I like it all kind of has to do with what shapes different people and who people are.
Yeah, you're really a global person. You lived all over the world. How do you think that's impacted you? We were talking a little bit off camera, but like, where do you see it in your life now, and where do you see it going forward in terms of the impact and just all those experiences?
It gives you also a bit of that bigger picture, because you understand people that are different from you. And I was saying before, it kind of makes all the daily issues or daily problems feel slightly less like the end of the world every single time. Yeah, because also my family, we've traveled quite a bit since I was little. Traveling was always very important to understanding the world and understanding people. And it's always off the beaten path, and people that are very different from you, and communities that are so foreign from what you live in day-to-day life, that it's taught me that there is so much that you don't know, and what you see every day is such a small ounce of what's in the world, that there's never a way to think, you know, because we do this, we're better this way, or because I know this, I can do this.
Right.
It's given me an appreciation for people, for sure.
Definitely. It seems like you're pretty grounded given your age and given your experience. And when you think about other people, whether it's in your life or just even other people in the industry, like, who do you look to in terms of being like, I like what this person's doing, or like what this person stands for, or like, this person kind of went through a similar experience to me and I can kind of resonate with that?
Yeah, I definitely look up to people like Emma Watson, who has taken issues that are important to her, educated herself, gone into depth, and then figured out how she stands and what she wants to do about it, and is very outspoken. Meryl Streep, definitely. Even Angelina Jolie with refugees and human rights. People who go and become very familiar with the issue. You go and you see what's going on and understand from, not just from an outsider's point of view of what you can learn, but go and see it and talk to people and interact with people, and then figure out what, from where you're standing, what you can do about it. Yeah,
and also like Emma Watson, somebody that was acting at an early age and realized the power of her platform to be able to talk about everything. You know, it's not like, we're not just talking about Harry Potter anymore. Like, we're talking about her relationships and what she believes, and like, it's cool that people can evolve over time, and I think that's something you could tap into as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when people check out season 2, what are some big things you want them to be thinking about?
Definitely, well, okay, there are quite a few kind of fun stunts in between and funny moments, and there's an interesting dynamic that evolves, because the Robinsons are not the only ones on this mission anymore. It's a much bigger scenario with more people, and so there's more tension, and there are more special effects and more robots, and that's definitely something to keep in mind. It also does get quite real, quite sad. So keep that in mind and be ready for that. I'm personally, as awful as it sounds, we filmed it and I've known what's going to happen since February. I'm so excited to make a bunch of people cry.
How about going into 2020? What are you looking forward to, just professionally, personally? Like, what are some things you're excited about next year?
I'm excited. I think that it's going to be a big year of growing up a bit, and it's been a couple of years of growing up, but this is a point where it's new things are happening. It's a whole new chapter. It's also a new decade. It's the beginning of a bunch of things.
The 20s.
I know, it's the 20s. And oh my God, that means it's going to be my 20s. That's awful. That's horrible. That's scary.
Listen, I'm 26. 20s are good. Everybody's looking forward to 30. Like, just enjoy your 20s.
I'll enjoy the 20s.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a whole new chapter. I'm excited. I'm working on a couple things. I'm excited for those.
Awesome. Good deal. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
You got it. Christmas Eve, the big day?
Yeah, December 24th.
December 24th, Lost in Space Season 2. For Mina, I'm DJ. See you again here on The Sit Down.